Aloha ya kākou apau. And our topic for today is hula and aha. And I prefer to use the word aha instead of ritual, because ritual can be anything. Ritual can be having your coffee at 7:30 every morning. That's a ritual. Okay. Or ritual can be going to take a walk in the afternoon because that makes you feel good. So every afternoon you take a walk. That's a ritual. The aha, however, is a totally different concept. And from that, the habit forming. And that's what rituals are, habit forming. Aha is not habit forming. Aha is a commitment. Okay. And so our topic on hula and aha in relationship to the mountain. But I want to talk a little bit about hula first. Before I change can you all see my screen?
Hi.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Okay, now if you see, this is the sunrise, and the beam of the sun is hitting the top of this rock. That in itself is the amateurs have made it. Okay, aloha again.
Hey, aloha. Thank you so much all for your patience.
The topic for this evening is hula and aha. And we're choosing aha because ritual also means something that it's a habit. Aha is a commitment to something. And so we're choosing the word aha instead. And as I was talking about this particular picture, the sunrise has a connection or to this particular rock. And the sunrise is on the winter solstice, and this rock is used for that particular purpose, to watch the sunrise on the winter solstice on this particular island. And so there is a connection. That's why I'm showing you that. That's what aha is. Aha is having a connection. And so the idea of commitment. And so there's a difference between hula and aha. And aha, the aha that we've had, whether we're up in a mountain or someplace, begins with these particular chants. And do you want to do this chant?
Eho mai ke mai una mai una mea una no ea una mele eho mai eho mai.
Okay, mahalo. This chant was written by my mother, Edith Kanakaʻole, and it was written for the Hālau members so that when they go out to perform or when they're thinking about how they should do certain things in hula, they would do this chant as a way of giving them some strength, some inner strength, and reaching out somewhere. It doesn't say who or what they're reaching out to, but reaching out somewhere. The great thing about this chant that my mother wrote for the Hālau is that we have people from almost all over the world that do this chant now. Okay. And this is one of the first chants that people felt it's all right for me to chant. Okay, and so people started to chant. No matter where they were in the islands, they started to chant this chant. So this gave them permission to chant. The next chant we're doing, Now this chant is a little bit more formal than the first chant, because it says Kanehualani, and Kanehualani is a nomenclature that is attached to the sun, and so this is the sun's name, and so you have a specific element that you're calling out to. You're calling out to the sun as a guidance. Okay, and so we usually do this chant early in the morning when the sun first rises. Okay, the other chant that we do is Na Aumakua Maikala Hikia Kalaka Maikahokia Kahalavai Na Aumakua Yaka Hinakua Yaka Hinalo Yaka Kawikalani Oki Hai Kalani Owe Kalani Nunu Kalani Kaholo Kalani Eyaka Pula Pula Okopua
OKUPU
E Malama Oko Yamaku
E ului kalani, e ului kahonua, e ului kapai aina ohai, e homai kaike, e homai kaikaika, e homai kiakamai, e homai kamaupopono, e homai kaike papa lua, e homai kamana.
Now this is a very formal chant because it speaks of particular things in the atmosphere. And so you have to have some kind of sense of what you're chanting about and where you're chanting about. Okay. It begins right away with who you're chanting to, Na'aumakua. And Na'aumakua can be anybody from your great-great-grandfather, great-great-grandmother, or your grandmother who just passed on, or anything that's up there in the atmosphere that has an attraction for you. And so this is about the whole atmosphere, everything in your sphere. Now, Maikalahiki, where the sun rises, Akalakau, where the sun sets. Maikahokuiakahalavai, from straight up to the horizon. Na'aumakua, again, you guys, those that are behind us and those that are in the front of us. Yaka-kawikalani, those that trip out in the atmosphere. Okihai-kalani, those that breathe. Oe-kalani, those that, what is oe? Reverberate. Nunulu is also numerating, reverberating. Kaholo is when something is moving across the sky. Eyakapula-pula, so you're addressing all of those different areas of concern. Eyakapula-pula oko, here is your offspring. And then you say your name, or you say your family's name, or if you were in the mountain, you would say Nakia'i Mauna, okay, which would be the whole group, or you can just do it for you. Malama, take care of us, that we may grow in the atmosphere, that we may grow on this earth, that we may grow in this archipelago. Afford us the knowledge, afford us the strength, afford us the intelligence, afford us the understanding. Give us the idea of having these visions, and give us the power to do what we need to do. So this is very formal, but these are the three chants that we begin a ceremony with. And these are, if anybody's going to learn, these are the three chants that we begin to learn with.
What's your style?
Okay, who's sharing the screen with us, hosting? Okay. Now, some of the difference between Hula and Aha.
Have a good time.
Awesome sauce. Okay, back in business.
Thank you. Hula and Aha. Now, hula is a rhythmic movement. a means to gather knowledge. And what is this over here? Be something with oneself. I don't know what that is.
You can move the pictures down.
Okay.
There you go.
To gather knowledge between yourself and the environment. That's what hula does for you. Aha, however, is assuring the connection between oneself and the environment or the element.
And one is very physical, so that's the hula. That's the entire embodiment of the environment and the moving of the environment in every possible way through your body. So, and then the aha is really metaphysical. It's more than physical. So although you may, in the aha, we're using particular chant texts to communicate with something, a sun, which is very physical, of course. The intentionality between that, the connection in that, the relationship between the chanter and the elemental phenomenon, no, that's more than physical, right? So the aha is that, imagine this an energetic cord between you and that thing. So you've got to, the aha has to make that connection.
So the difference between aha and the hula is, aha is basically very spiritual. You're working your spirituality back and forth. The hula is technical, but hula prepares and qualifies one to do the aha. Okay. So what are the environments that we're talking about over here? Well, yourself is an environment. The family is an environment. The place you live in, a natural area around you, is your environment, which houses this and surrounds you, and also the elements. And so we're going to visit some of the environments that we live in and we are concerned with in Hawaii. Okay, one of those is the great trees. Great trees are very much of our environment. We need the trees, and we need the native trees because they know how to act in this environment. Okay, they have a relationship with the space above. Okay, but what about all of the birds that we have, all the winged creatures that we have, whether they're big birds, seabirds, termites, dragonflies, all the winged creatures that we have in our environment is part of who we are. The blossoming of flowers, the sea creatures that we have, the shellfish that we have, even the bugs that we have. All of our songs and our chants are about these things.
These people.
Yeah, that's what they're about. And the flowers, how the flowers open, and what time of the year we have the opening of the flowers, like lehua. They're blooming now because I have allergies and I'm allergic to that. Okay, so that's one of our the things that we have to look after in our, but that's also the things that's in our chants and in our songs. Okay, these are some of the elements that we sing and chant about. The sun, Ekane Hoalani, we just did that chant about the great ocean and the movement of the ocean and what the ocean provides for us. The elements are part of the land, the mountain, also the rain and the rivers that we have, the fresh water that we have, a part of the elements. And of course the lava flow and the moon. And we have dances about all of these, every one of these. And so I think, you know, we have people in Paris and Netherlands and Germany and Japan have more halaus than Hawaii, and Taiwan, Canada, Mexico have halaus. And all of the United States, they all have halaus. But all of the songs that they're dancing and singing is about this land. And so,
The aha.
yeah, what are they?
What is the aha there? I think one of the big phenomenon is the fact that there's more people outside of Hawaii dancing hula. And I mean, this is not the topic of this evening, but it's something to it's something to maybe just mention here, because if you're dancing outside of beyond the Hawaii horizon, and you're dancing about all these elemental forms that are named and present in the islands, then you've got to at some point connect to yourself to your to the ecology in which you're hulaing. I see it as my mother and I have different experiences of that. So one of the big questions for my mom is like, why? Why?
Why stop dancing?
Yeah, so that's her, right? And my big thing is there's more people outside dancing than inside. So why don't we teach them how to connect that dance the same way we do it to that particular ecology? When we can do that, when we know that people outside of Hawaii are dancing and informed, not just dancing, but informed in the wholeness of hula, because this is the topic of hula and ritual. Okay, and informed folks, connected folks, that all that vibration coming in towards Hawaii because you're dancing those dances and chanting those chants, it's actually helpful. You know, it's a helpful kind of money. So you're lucky you have two generations here.
Look at Lauren burns the shit out of me.
You see how quickly Monique can just yeah, Monique. Yeah, girl. Okay.
Okay, now this next thing I wrote, all life forms of the environment and elementals have rhythm. The earth has rhythm. The sun rising, setting, the moon rising, setting, the stars have a sense of timing and therefore rhythm. Flowers blooming according to life rhythm or the life timing. Fish and birds go through their birthing cycle at a particular time. So this particular environment that we live on has that kind of rhythm. And hula that we do also have that kind of beat. The beats that we do have to do with the earth that we live on and vibrating that vibration of the earth that we live on. But hula is committed to words. You cannot do a hula without words. It has to have words. If you're just doing hula with rhythm, that's not hula. That is not traditional. And so unlike some of the other natives who do not have words, but they have the rhythm of the land that they're dancing to, hula has to have words to it. Okay. And so that's why we have that's why when you're taught a hula and when you're taught with a chant, you should understand what you're dancing about, because that's the whole thing about hula, is you understand your environment. Okay. Okay, the next thing is body capability as far as hula is concerned. Your body has to be able to be capable of movement that the hula will bring on. And the movement has to do with the same thing as the ocean, the movement up and down, same thing as the bird flying through the air, same thing as the rhythm of the volcanoes as it's going around and moving. Okay. We have dances that we do in hula noho, and we have dances that we do hula kaholo, where we're standing up, but the body has to be able to take the movement of the up and down, which is required in hula. And so you see the motions of these people that are dancing, and the extension of the hands, the focus of the eyes on the hands, and so it's not so much the focus for hula is basically on your hands. You know, it's not a big smile or what people are looking at your face. They look at your face, they miss the whole dance. Okay. So they have to look at what your hands are doing, because your hands are actually imitating that thing that is talking about in the chants and dances. And the foot movement is keeping time with the rhythm of the earth.
So how we like to think about it in the body form is, so you there's a northern hemisphere of the body. So anything that's done in this hemisphere, you're talking about particular elements. And then so like my mom pointed out, the hands are, it's not as if, it's not all about, she makes a good point, or it's not all about, oh, I gotta watch my hands move. That's not the thing. The thing is, where's the prayer going? And the movement of the hand is the extension of the prayer. And the shape and the height and the extension or the contraction of the hand is that thing in the environment, in the atmosphere. It's sometimes we define what the hands are doing as the story, as the text. And sometimes we describe what the feet are doing, or the lower part of the body, as the keeping rhythm. So this is the mundane way of explaining it.
Yeah.
So the aha, in terms of, in the context of an aha, however, the this extension of you is that that is the sun ray. That is the holu of the niu. So that the hands are no longer just hands. You become a major extension of everything in your natural environment. And as atmosphere is moving and your hands doing all kind of things, up, down, side, across, and all those things like that, all the movement of the landscape, your feet are keeping time and rhythm. And it's not about 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you got to step in rhythm, but the rhythm my mother's talking about is the earth rhythm. And that's why we maintain that rhythm. Not too different from how the Native Americans got to keep that moving, keep those feet moving. Not too different from how the Aboriginal people have to keep those feet moving in a particular rhythm on the earth, which is why they don't have slippers on, no matter how hot or pokey or cold it is. So yeah.
Okay. So when you talk about hula, kumu hula, hopa'a, and olapa is what makes up a formal hālau. And you have many different motions in hula, many different movements in hula, many different kinds of implements in hula. You have the hula that you're standing up and moving. You have the hula that I said before, you're sitting down with bent knees and rolling around the ground. Okay, and you're just extending from your waist out. We have what we call hula olapa, or what they call today hula kahiko. But olapa was an older style of dancing. And then we have hula awana. Nevertheless, we all hula. Okay, and so this is the treatment of a formal hālau, is that you have a kumu, and you have a hopa'a, and you have an olapa. When you have an aha, you don't necessarily have a kumu or a hopa or an olapa. Everybody dances and everybody's there to chant, and everybody dances and chants for himself to the mountain, if that is the focus. Okay. Okay, now we, the Hālau Kekuhi, is our family Hālau, and Kekuhi and I are not kumuhulas there anymore. My sister Nalani and my other daughter Hui Hui are the kumuhulas of Hālau Kekuhi. And Hālau Kekuhi, Kekuhi was my mother's name, Edith. Their traditional style of dancing is aiha, and it's very formal. Aiha is very formal. They have a regular ritual when they go to practice. The ritual is that they get together in a circle before they practice. They do all of the chants that have to do with the formality of dancing. And then they have a dressing ceremony. They put on the anklets or wristlets and their leis. And then after that, they have exercise for about half hour or so. Go through all of the step movements, and then they dance. And once a year, the Hālau has a kuahu ceremony where they redress the kuahu. Okay, and the kuahu ceremony is all about knowing what the forest is and what you bring in from your forest. And what you bring in, how does that help you in hula? And once in a while, we actually graduate people from the Hālau, Noniki, and make them kumuhulas. But this is, as I said with the slide before, this is a formal Hālau. Now, not all Hālaus have the same, they do the same thing or have the same structure. Some don't do the Hālau oli, they don't do dressing ceremony, they just dance. Okay, and they certainly don't have the kuahu ceremony yearly. We have that because we have a kuahu, and a few Hālaus do have kuahus. Okay, so it's a formal hula tradition that we came out of, or that we were born from. This is not a formal hula structure. This is an aha. Okay, I keep moving this around. I have to apologize. Oh,
go back.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This is an aha.
That's awesome.
And see how they have all their hands stretched out. They're all doing dances for the mountain. Most of these people have never danced before in their life. And they all came to learn the dances or learned it on TV, learned the chants, and they came out sometimes within that period of time that we were there to join in the aha. And so this is what the aha looked like. And anybody who wanted to join in the aha could join in the aha. We couldn't say, oh no, you cannot come because you don't do our style of dancing. You cannot do that. Okay. That's not what they're there. They're there to do the aha.
Yeah.
And
then here, so there are different scales and function purposes for the aha. Our scale was so huge that we needed lots and lots of people, and whoever was willing to be trained, we trained. Now, not all ahas, because we're talking about this aha because we're talking about the whole OKUPU exhibit, which is a direct product of our being on the mountain, okay? But not, so when you walk away from this, this time with us, you walk away knowing that there are different scales and different levels of aha. There may be an aha with just 2 or 3 people, and it may be very, you can, very produced. So, you know, you have like a tight prescription of what it is you need to do. The ritual requires some, I don't know, sacrifice, some exchange, and most of these activities don't happen in the public. This ahas are held in the public nowadays. Since the 80s, they've become more and more public. But the ones that we take super seriously they're not done in public, and most times not done where lots of people can go and, you know, done in the evening or in the cloak of darkness or early in the morning when nobody's up. So you see, there's many different kinds. This kind of aha required this many people to be in this kind of focus. So we trained for it. We trained them.
And let me see what the next one is. I forgot. Okay, so this, as I said, this is not a formal Hālau. They're not focused on hula per se. They're focused on the aha. Okay, so the aha is literally a cord. And cords for Hawaiians are made of senet, the husk from the coconut. One of the toughest cords is hau, and the bark of the hau that grows at the ocean. Olona grows up in the mountain, but has also one of the toughest bark. And hair. If you have long hair and cut it, we'll braid it and keep braiding. But those are our ahas. Those are our cords. So what do they have to do? An aha itself, the cord itself, connects and binds. Okay, one thing to another. Therefore, the purpose of the aha or the ceremony is to connect and bind you to whomever you are trying to connect or whatever you're trying to connect to. In this case, the aha for the mauna was done 3 times a day, with an extra one at sunrise for those that actually spent the night up there. So they do one early in the morning. Otherwise, it's 3 times a day. So the reason people throughout the islands and the US learned the hula and oli was to bind themselves to the mauna. In other words, they were passionate about its existence and vice versa. The other thing about the vice versa is that it has to do with reciprocity. Okay, you live because I live because you live. Okay, and so there is a reciprocation between the two. And so I'm here to do the chants, to do the dances, and to give some strength to this, to, if you want to call it a protest, you call it a protest, but it is cultural ceremonial protest.
We called it a ceremony, a ritual stance. Protest for some people be one of the prerequisites for entering into an aha and into hula is mindset and where your heart is, or your na'au is. So mindset means, what is your intention for being here? Is it and we ask this of everyone, no matter what kind of aha we enter. What is your individual intention for being at the aha? And that's everybody's business. It's not like, oh, I have my own private intentions. Okay, and I can't share that with you. Yeah, we don't work like that. So once you make yourself a part of that group, your intention gets known by everybody else. You share that. That's not a choice. That is the thinking. When you step into a particular energetic, how you think that's gonna, how you think that energetic is gonna move out into wherever it needs to go. It has to be it has to be laser focused. So the idea that that mindset is hugely important, and then what your heart, because your brain can tell you, oh yeah, I get good mindset, huh? Oh yeah, like I have good intentions. You know, but what your brain telling you and what's coming out of your mouth may not reflect what your na'au and your heart feels. So that's also a measure. We measure for that and can tell when you start chanting, different kind of frequency you get. When you start dancing, you can tell. Not you look ugly, not like that, but can just tell, like it oozes out. And that's how, that's it. I think chant and dance are wonderful barometers of what mindset and your heart set is all about. So, and we gotta, that's hugely important. So we invited everyone. We didn't exclude anyone from the AHA, not once. But if you were gonna step on that road and utter the chants and dance the dances, the focus needed to be only one focus, Mauna. Not you, not your what you call that? Your thing. I don't know. You can translate that into English. Your thing, not your thing, not your title. Your title nobody had titles. Only had kupuna and the rest of us, pretty much. That was the only kupuna and the rest of us and the environment. Those were the kings and the queens, you know. So yeah, I'll talk about that.
Well, what hula does for your what being in a Hālau does for your status in AHA, it actually prepares you for an AHA. Because it teaches you dance, it teaches you discipline. Okay, and that's what you need to begin the AHA. You need dance and you need discipline. You need to know how to chant. And so that is a way to prepare you for the AHA. So it's a very technical. Hula is very technical. But the AHA is that spiritual moment of reaching out and reaching back. Okay, let's see what we have next. I forget. Oh, and this is what we're reaching for. Mauna kea, mauna wa kea, mauna kea. Okay.
Thank you.
These are some of the chants that we used for the AHA itself. And the first chant that you see here, Wahānau ka mauna wa kea, is actually part of a whole genealogical chant about elements. And one part of the chant is about the sun. The other part of the chant is about the moon. The other part of the chant is about the great ocean. The other part of the chant is what it means to give birth and go through procreative cycles. And this part of the chant is about Mauna wa kea. So we're just pulling out the Mauna wa kea part of that genealogical chant and using that as part of the chant to teach the greater group that came, so they know something about the Mauna. Oh, Hālau ka mauna wa kea, o kupua e ka mauna kea wa kea kāne, papawali utawai ne. Hālau ho kukalani, hālau halo keali, hālau ka mauna kea e ke ki mauna kea. Hālau ka mauna e o kea. How did you do that, Chin?
Oh yeah, that's good. I'm gonna just check I want to use a rhythm here. So I'm just gonna really quick check the audio settings to see that we are at low background suppression. BTW, if you're using ukuleles, ipus, and drums, and you want to chant and sing and all that, okay, you gotta set your audio to background suppression low.
Okay.
How do I go back to share screen? Right there.
Yeah.
Bam!
Oh, we're getting good at this.
Wow.
Yes.
So this is the earth. This is the rhythm. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Na kia ko ho hi hi ta het tu e na mo tu. Na kia ko ho hi hi ta het tu e na mo tu. Tu don't know among mo tu ala. E ke te e ti. Tu don't know among mo tu ala. E ke te ti. Hi ko aku hanu. Na poli aku li no vai au. Hi ko aku hanu. Na poli aku li no vai au. Moia ke ki kilo hia. Hio pana eva, moia ke te tilo hia, hio pana eva, Panapana Wakahana Puai, Europa, the Po, the Motu, Panapana Wakahana Puai, Europa, the Po, the Motu, I in a Hana Yamai, no Kekuhi Kealiʻikanakaʻole. Ha in a Yamai, no Kekuhi Kealiʻikanakaʻole. No kia kohohihi.
Now, how do I put this over here somewhere? There it is. Oh, there it goes. This particular chant of this was written by one of the Lim sisters, Lorna, and the hula was put together by a few people that were kumuhulas at that time up on the mountain. She'll come back and go through the chant. And the very last chant, I'm not sure what this is. The very last chant here is a chant that we did at the very end of each of the aha. And the very end of each of the aha would express the idea of kukulu. And kukulu is to build up. And what we want to build up is Hemauna, the mountain. What we want to build up is the ahu. What we want to build up is the pohaku. What we want to build up is the kanaka. And so Mona Kekuhi.
Yep. Ai mauna kia kohi vikuha o ikmalie. Mauna te atua i vikuha o ikmalie. Tapito olu o mauna te ae. Iku ika vikuha o poi e ahu. Tabane kapaha o mauna te ae. Ni te laki o i kapaya.
No polio. Okay. The kukulu.
He ahala he kukulu he mauna. He ahala he kukulu he ahu. We're gonna do this again, and we're gonna ask you to join us. He ahala he kukulu he pohaku. He ahala he kukulu. He ahala he kukulu he kanaka. Okay, one more time. All of us. He ahala he kukulu he mauna. He ahala he kukulu. He ahala he kukulu he ahu. He ahala he kukulu. He ahala he kukulu he pohaku. He ahala he kukulu. He ahala he kukulu he kanaka. This is a really poignant chant. So it was written by Poor Case, and you know the name of the series of exhibits from on the islands and in different regions around this island is kukulu. Okay, so that's, you should know that. Okay. And then this chant was written in a moment where there's this like major realization, because the image is right in the front of her at that moment, that these people standing there in the 2015 stance, her colleagues, who was family, her friends, and whoever came to kakō them, those were it. That's why that last line says, He hala he kukulu he kanaka. What is a kukulu? Show me that kanaka, that human being right there, that human being right there, my family member over there. The top line says, what is a pillar? Where? Show me. He mauna. Mauna is a pillar. So she's sharing different scales of pillars. Okay? So, yeah, that's it. I'm also going to mention that it's 6:08 now, and we're halfway through this PowerPoint.
Yeah.
And we're done with this session at 6:25 since we went out and came back in. I just saying, okay? So we're going to finish
We're almost
in the hour.
Yeah.
All right? Okay, we go.
So people were adamant about learning oli and hula before schedule. And so they had schedules for practices. And so these, all of them, whether, it doesn't matter how old they were, whether they were formally dressed or whether they just came with their shorts, they all came to learn. And so you can see that in the facial expressions they have. People on the islands of Maui or Oahu also participated in the scheduled times. Also, people throughout the United States, some of the universities set up their own
global
time to dance at the same time we were dancing. So it was global, that it was, we all started at the same time, we all ended at the same time.
I mean, and there's lots of other stories about that. Maybe later.
And some of the hula halaus came to offer formal ho'okupus for the aha, specific hula halaus.
So these are some of these. Try go back one slide, Mom. So one of the things you're not going to see when you come to the exhibit is this. Okay, so in the exhibit we have the physical, the objects of people's aloha. Okay, so another huge ho'okupu or gift that was left for the mauna are halaus who came to dance, or family groups who came to sing. So their gift was of the voice and of the body, not necessarily an object. So you're not going to see these ones in the ho'okupu exhibit. The other thing is that people brought prepared food in the aha, through the aha, to this roadway, to this ala hulu kupuna. So we ate all that already. So you're not going to see that either. Now, I'm just saying there's like all different kinds of ho'okupu, not only what's hanging up in EHCC.
Sometimes there were hundreds of participants, other times it was just a handful. It didn't matter, the aha continued for 9 months.
Yeah. Rain, snow, thunder, wind, beating sun, doesn't matter.
This is formal ho'okupu. And they came down the roadway and gave the formal ho'okupu. Usually they came with a chant or someone chanted for them. And we accepted it. We accepted most of the ho'okupus. There's some we did not accept. And we told them why we would not accept it and sent them on their way. Okay, these are other ho'okupus from people from other islands, came for the purpose. We had people from all over the world who came to dance as part of their OKUPU and to sing and to play their drums. From Fiji, Tonga, Samoa, New Zealand,
Philippines, Japan, Taiwan,
Okinawa,
Native Americas, and
Native Americans.
all over.
I put his picture up because he's a handsome boy.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, and this is the wind, rain, hail, fog, sleet, snow.
Whatever.
Continued 4 days for 9 months. Connections must be maintained. So life to the mountain of Wakea for all of those who came, gave of their time, their soul, their
voice box,
their voice, their instincts.
Yeah.
Very grateful for that.
So I'm gonna point out Vic Hugh. Vic Hugh is the tall drum there. Vic Hugh is in the exhibit. She is the center of the exhibit. Okay, so she is the smaller scale of the mauna. She was fashioned after the mauna for the mauna. Isn't that cool? So her name is the name of the top of the mauna, Vic Hugh. She has 2 other names, but you don't need to know that. So I'm gonna point out, you see how there's the ipus laying there on the mat, okay? And then the pahus are there. Oh, I'm gonna just introduce to you Big Mama. Big Mama is that other big pahu over there, the other big drum, okay? So that drum came from Oahu. The mana of that drum and whoever built it and whoever played it before us came from Oahu, lived with us for 1.5 years, 2 years, and then went back home. And sometimes that's how you do.
Send it back. They didn't even finish carving the tree. They sent it. So the bottom is still part of the tree.
Raw. Yeah. We loved. She's super heavy. It took 4 of us to carry her. 8 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Put them back. 8 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
But the sound was so. The one that pulled the strings on the drum, the binding was great.
So I want to point out the centerpiece of the aha, because they talk about that every week in the FB Lives. And we begin from that center, then we go out to the OKUPU. What we want people to realize is that aha that ties the mat. Right here, you're looking at them, and then when you go into the exhibit, you're looking at them again. So that aha that ties the mat to that Kanaka, to that person, to that old person, to that person sitting on the side, to the pu'uhuluhulu in the background, from the mat to the mauna in the back of us, in the front of us. That's how we can be there is the aha. Okay.
The great thing about having this aha is it was like a what do you call that door that you walk through?
Portal.
Like it was like a portal to a different Hawaii, to a different mindset, where people felt like it's okay for me to dance. And lots of the men that danced never danced before. And lots of them that came to chant never chanted before. And all these people that you see on the side, they didn't mind the weather. They came to be part of it. They knew they couldn't dance and they couldn't chant, but they came to be part of it. And they sat through the whole thing. They didn't complain. One of the things that we did to reciprocate is we fed all of them after the aha. Each of the aha, we fed them, and had nice conversations with them before they went back off where they came from. And so this is our last.
Oh, cool beans. Because then we have a little time for questions. 8 minutes exactly.
We have 8 minutes for question.
So
Okay.
we actually have more points on our outline, but that's where we're going to end. Good job, po Kanahele.
Job,
Yes.
Kekuhi, my kuhi.
Yes.
Can I butt in for a second? And thank you so much. First for the fabulous show that's just so enriched us, and these 2 presentations that have enriched the show that much more. Again, thanks to Dr. Pualani Kanakaʻole Kanahele and to Kekuhi Kealiʻikanakaʻoleohaililani. So grateful for your presentation. Now I'll butt out, and if anybody has questions, I guess put them in chat, or I don't know, I guess Monique is there. Hi, Monique. You can figure out how to unmute people if they want it.
So if you have questions, you can type them in the chat, or if you have questions, go right down there to your reactions button on the bottom of your screen. It looks like a happy face guy. If you just press that guy and press your hand up emoji, or you could actually do this. Watch. I have a question. Oh my God.
That's great. By the way, a reminder to everybody, the show is open at the East Hawaii Cultural Center through the 28th of May. And every Wednesday at, I think, 3 o'clock, you're doing Facebook Live short presentations from the gallery, which is also just terrific. So these recordings will be up on our website, so you can review them. And somebody, I hope, will edit out the stuff at the beginning. Okay, I'm seeing lots of mahalos in the chat.
Mahalo. Any hands? Any hands? No, I don't see. I'm scrolling through right now. No. Hi, Kohivi. You joined us. How cool. And Margaret's here too. Hi, Kehau.
And Liliana.
Aloha. Aloha, Kanda. Oh, and there's Kalei. These are my chat students over here. And look, there's my Kai-chan. I don't know you, but I say hello because you have a nice background, no? And and there's Elia.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you like ask us? Oh, maybe I should speak in English. Do you have any questions?
And now, okay, they don't have questions.
Hey, Mauni now kaoko. Okay, Margaret, you have a question, or you just saying bye?
No, I do have a question. Maybe it's more of a hope than a question. Is there any intention of having AHA again in that place?
Why?
To regather whenever it might be possible and connect again?
Yeah, I think if we know what the focal point is, then that's if the mountain calls us, then we have AHA.
Yeah.
So it's not a personal social event, yeah. Which is why we stopped doing AHA. Because all that particular lineup of mele in that particular order is for this particular purpose. So when we came down the mountain, we said, okay, so now maybe Landakila gotta go teach this one, and he hosted some AHA, okay, but they weren't AHA mauna. They may have used some elements, but yeah, it was a different AHA. So for the purpose of getting together and going there, probably not going to happen until the Mauna says, get back over here. Then we come. Yeah. Or if we need to hulihia something, then we'll probably like turn over like full revolution kind of thing. Then maybe we put together a different kind of AHA to focus on that turn. Yeah, good question. Hi, Lily. Look her.
I guess I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Larry.
Merry Monarch. Of course, it was canceled last year. This year, it's going to show up in some form or other. Will your Hālau be participating in any way?
No.
Kohevi, you have Hini now.
Yes, Ninau. First of all, aloha kumu and aloha anake.
Hello, Mike.
You know, people who got to participate in AHA and go to the Mauna, I know they got inspired to write new oli and new mele. Have we made attempts to start to collect those as a repository, maybe publish them as a collection of oli that generated from all of this? I think that would be really my ka'i to start documentation, or even if it's just journals, but everybody who went to participate in AHA had time, whether it was 5 minutes, 5 days, 9 months. I think it's important to document all of those things into one like big archival collection. That's my Nina. Has anything like that been attempted?
No, it's all yours. We give you that job. Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
It's a super good idea. It's not even a good idea. I think it's a must.
Mm.
And I do know that whatever Pua composed and Lorna composed, and we knew we couldn't forget that when they're in the AHA. But you're right, there are a whole lot of mele that were composed either on the spot only for that moment or mele after the fact. I know a handful of people whose meles I looked at while we were on the Mauna. So yeah.
I think you and I need a brighter light.
Yeah, we do need a brighter light.
We're fading off into the dark.
Yeah, that's all right. That's just a sign. Time to go now.
Go now.
Yeah. Hey Lily, how you? Okay, I just want to introduce Lily here. I know others may be there. Lily, so I just couldn't take over and make my own. Okay, is that okay, Larry? Okay. So Lily and her Hālau came to the Mauna several times, and they came in big groups a few times, and then sometimes just Lily, and sometimes Lily and her daughter. But Lily, I want to ask you, of the things that we talked about tonight, what were most what's the thing that stays in your heart, or what's the thing you learned most about coming?
We can ask you how the same question.
Mama is volunteering how to go next. Go ahead.
I like the whole concept about the AHA and the connection and the pilina that we had, and the purpose, of why we're there. Mama calls and we come. The kahea comes. We come. We kukua in whatever aspect we could. But then it's also what we could bring back to our own mokopuni, right, and continue AHA here for those that maybe couldn't, was able to join us up at the Mauna, and so that we can still connect, we can still share that same AHA, even off being on a different island.
Yeah, mahalo nui. And then my mom wants Kehau to talk now. So there you go. Yeah. So I guess same question.
Okay, so there's a couple of Kehaus, but I'm so happy to see you folks. Thank you so much. So and thanks for the question. And actually, while all of you were up on the Mauna, I physically never made it. I had incurred a major injury with my leg, and I couldn't walk, so I couldn't travel. But what was really awesome for those of us who could not physically travel up to the Mauna is that they were put on Facebook Live and through other online platforms. And so I personally showed up at all of the times from sunrise to sunset to engage and participate. Many of the chants I've had the opportunity to learn over the years, and so I felt connected in that way. And then from the repetition of coming online daily, I was able to learn all of the other oli and hula and pule. So very, very grateful. Thank you.
Yeah.
How did you feel about people come to the Mauna and dancing when they've never danced before?
I found it quite inspiring, actually. For a while, I would see a lot of people just standing on the sidelines, and you could see that they were inspired and motivated, maybe a little bit hila, but in time, I would see many of those people find their way to the back, which is really very powerful.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Mahalo, sis.
Thank you.
And I asked you the question because I saw you on lives. Okay, then, okay. Well, Gangi, like, we don't mean to not ask you guys. How about you, Margaret? Margaret, I know you were up at the Mauna quite often. So what was one of your highlights? The thing that you took away, I suppose. Whether you were online. See, when we say on the Mauna, we mean at the aha. We don't mean you had to have been physically there. If you were creating the aha between where we were and where you were, in the ritual story, no more difference.
Yeah.
No more difference.
Doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah.
You're asking me?
Yeah.
That's a big question.
Okay, just give me one answer.
And one answer, being present on the Mauna with the energy of that aha being created by the Kanaka there and the elements there, and the moving back and forth of that energy was so completely foreign to anything I had ever experienced before. The energy itself, the aloha itself, you could taste it. It was everywhere. But what that meant to me is that I felt like for a long time, feel like the whole world is so lost and falling. And then the Mauna called and said, okay, everybody, time to change this.
Yeah.
And people answered. And I saw it, and I was there, and I said, look, there is hope, there is change, and it is already arrived.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm saying it well, but that's the best I could do on short notice.
Yeah, no, that's great.
That's what it was for me. Okay. Okay, Larry, we're handing it back to you. Okay. Thank you, EHCC, for sponsoring these talk stories.
And thank you so much. This has been really enriching. We're humbled, we're grateful. Thank you so much.
Okay, Gangi, good night.
Good night.
Aloha.
Come see the show. The show is on until the 28th.
Aloha. Mahalo nui.
Bye.
Uiho.
Uiho.
Uiho. Malamo pono.
Uiho.
Mahalo.
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 Ole pilikia. No maua kahau oli.